All right, so I'm taking white and black. That's all we get. Okay, you're getting white and black. I brought gray because I thought, well, you can have gray too if you want it. I mean, really, then you don't have to mix gray all the time. What I want to do is just like your selfie, you're going to just basically cover a large area, all right? So if I really think about this image, I'm thinking kind of like in a gradient form. I think I'm just gonna keep it simple, all right? So I'm gonna go to like a middle gray to a light. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my white. I'm gonna cover this whole thing really quickly. And so now that we've got that, so what I'm doing is I'm finding local colors, all right? But because you don't have local colors, you basically have black and white. That's even a lot easier. Okay, now you're like thinking like it's really streaky. That's okay, all right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna cover this whole area really quickly. And now what happens with acrylic is it starts to dry, all right? And you can kind of feel it start to pull up. Okay, like you see how I'm kind of dragging now? What you want to do is you want to work that while it's almost drying, so then you're going to get a smooth effect, all right? Because I know it's drying. There's a point though, as you feel and you get better at it, that I cannot keep working it, because what will happen is, because acrylic it's a plastic, it's going to peel up, all right? So students are like, but it's peeling up. Now you see what's happening now? All right, like I'm almost dragging. Do you see that? And I'm kind of fighting it a little bit. And I'm trying to mash in with that white. So that the paint that I gave you is fairly thin, and now I can't do much, because if I keep dragging, I'm gonna create streaks, right? That's about all I can do for right now, and leave that area alone, okay? So the beauty of acrylic is it dries fast, but the bad part of acrylic is it dries fast. So what you have to do is you gotta work these other areas. And I'm gonna show you that you're gonna have to go back more than once, okay, as I'm working on this. So what I'm doing is just really getting my background in top. Now I'm not worried that I'm not perfect, because I'm gonna go on top of it anyway, right? Because again, acrylic is very forgiving. So as I'm working this, I'm gonna keep going with it. And I can feel like, again, it's gonna pull up a little bit. Now I know my hair is dark, so I'm gonna do is I'm gonna separate lightly with a little bit of value. So if you look at the value ranges here, do you see that? Just find your values quickly right on your painting, okay? Now, the darks is I do not want to go as dark as that dark, because then I can't add color into my dark. The thing is with the Verdaccio is the students get confused about is they're like, but it's too light. It is light. You're painting the Verdaccio like if you were painting an oil, in a watercolor painting, okay? You're really going light to dark. I'm gonna go ahead and spot all my values in here. I'm looking for my values, and then and I can always adjust it. The point of this first coat, I call it the first pass, is that you're getting paint down. The other thing is a lot of these brushes that I have are really cheap, inexpensive brushes that you can go buy at Walmart or you know, Hobby Lobby for a bunch of them. I would get the cheap synthetic ones, okay? So you guys will need some synthetic brush. You can use the filberts I gave you. The only problem about that is that it's a little too rough, okay? Like you can use it for the scumbling when we start to dry brush, and I'll show you what I'm talking about in that. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit back dark in here because I want just a little bit more contrast. You can smooth it out, you just have to do it in layers. Okay, I'm going in and just really, and because I've got to take another smaller brush because it's acrylic, is that you need to have, which I don't have, is a container of water. I'm gonna go grab that real quick. Yeah, will you grab me? And there's bottles underneath that. You just fill it with some water for me, Jewel. So I'm gonna go in. Now the lights of the eyes, as you guys are working, you'll notice that the dark is up on top, okay, of the iris, and then you've got the pupil. What I'm doing is basically just outline, but I'm gonna get it as smooth as that, okay? But anyway, so I'm gonna keep working this, and I'm gonna keep adding my values. Once this dry, I'm gonna show you how we're gonna smooth it out, so just be patient. Remember, found time. But what you don't wanna do is chunk it. You see that? Don't do that, okay? You need everything to be really smooth. I'm still keeping everything really smooth. There's no chunkiness in this painting. It looks like paint streaks because you know, from the brush, but everything is very smooth. And I'll take some paint off as well. That's a good way of taking paint off. With foliage, what you want to do is you go ahead and establish where the darks are at, and then you can put the middle value in between. Okay, some tricks to that. So you see how I went over another area because I know that area is almost dry. I can then take the darker and go over and slightly lift up on top. If I mash it in too much, like I talked about kissing, I know that's a little crude at times, but you really want to just go right on top and drag that paint right on top, just like oils, and you'll get a really clean streak. All right, but if you mash it down too much, you're gonna create that. Do you see that? So there is an art to how you put your paint on there. It's very important. But do you see how I'm not like this? Okay, what I'm doing is I'm really thinking about what that shape is and manipulating my brush. Okay, and I can always go in detail. The point of this is getting these larger bits right now.